Hey guys, I'm Spinster here, and I'm going to need you to have 3 highlighters in a writing utensil. So pause this video and find yourself 3 highlighters. One thing that I want you to do is think about, before you dive into this, is think about the pros and cons of being in a relationship. So, on the back of your poem, let's think about, what are some of the pros and cons of being in a relationship? Okay, so some pros of being in a relationship: companionship, right? Friendship. Hopefully you're friends with the person that you're in a relationship with. And then these 2 things encompass a lot of ideas. Sharing things. Ideas, memories, someone to talk to. Someone who knows you best, hopefully. Just someone to hang out with. Or with whom to hang out. So those are some pros of being in a relationship. All right. Some cons of being in a relationship. Well, you have less control over, meaning you have to think about someone else, right? You have to take into account another person's feelings, another person's schedule, another person's life, less time to yourself. Okay. So those are some cons to being in a relationship. All right. Now think of somebody that you can't stand. Somebody that just thinking about them, like everything they do just irritates you. You just, like, as soon as they walk into a room, you're like, oh gosh, here we go. And they don't really even know you feel this way. They're kind of under the impression that, things are great. But in your world, you're like, I really honestly can't stand you. And you have no idea I can't stand you. And every little thing you do annoys me. And they could, so for example, if my best friend does something, if she asks me a question about something, anything, it doesn't matter what it is. She asks me a question about something, and I think it's fine, not a big deal. I think it's a great question. What a good question you just asked me. But if there's this other person, and I'm thinking about someone specifically, and they ask the same question, I'm like, that is such a dumb question. Why would you even ask that? Right. I mean, I'm being a complete hypocrite, and I'm acknowledging that, but it's just like who this person is. And I'm just like, why? Why did you ask that question? How can you not know the answer to that? Right? So pros, cons, and then just the things people do, maybe one person in particular, that you're like, why do you do what you do and how you do what you do? How do you not get on your own nerves doing that? Okay? All right. So, let's color mark. Okay. We are going to color mark, this is where our highlighters come in. We are going to look for 3 different things. So, I don't want to use that color. I'm going to use pink. Okay. First, we are going to find, words. We are going to color mark words that mean order or organized. Okay? Order or organized. And we're going to do that in green. So I'm going to highlight this green so that I know in my poem I'm looking for green. We're just going to make this key right now. 2, I'm going to color mark words that mean disorder or unorganized. And I'm going to color mark those. I'm going to highlight those pink when I go through and find them. And then I'm going to color mark words that have a combat connotation. And those are going to be blue. Okay. Alright, but let's get started on the poem first. Okay, it's called Spinster. It's in 1956. First thing you need to do is know what a spinster is. So let's define that. A spinster is an unmarried woman typically beyond the age of marriage. Okay. So a spinster is an unmarried woman, typically beyond the age of marriage. That does say woman, just so you know, not women. I do know the difference. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to read through it first, and then we will dissect it. Now, this particular girl, during a ceremonious April walk with her latest suitor, found herself of a sudden intolerably struck by the birds' irregular babble and the leaves' litter. By this tumult afflicted, she observed her lover's gestures unbalance the air, his gait stray uneven through a rank wilderness of fern and flower. She judged the petals in disarray, the whole season sloven. How she longed for winter then, scrupulously austere in its order of white and black, ice and rock, each sentiment within border, and heart's frosty discipline, exact as a snowflake. But here, a burgeoning unruly enough to pitch her 5 queenly wits into vulgar motley. A treason not to be borne, let idiots reel giddy in bedlam spring, she withdrew neatly. And round her house she set such a barricade of barb and check against a mutinous weather, as no mere insurgent or love either. All right. So, let me see something here. My dogs are going insane. I wonder if I can pause this. Nope. Oh, can I pause it? Okay, back in business. All right. So, here we go. Now, this particular girl, during a ceremonious April walk with her latest suitor, found herself of a sudden intolerably struck by the birds' irregular babble and the leaves litter. So let's just do this one here. Let's see, particular girl. So let's look at this. So particular in this instance could be a couple things, right? Does it mean specific or picky or both? So we've got diction, and does it mean specific, picky, both? You know, is she particular, or are we talking about this particular girl, this specific girl, right? So which one are we talking about? During a ceremonious April walk. So it's ceremonious, you know, think about the diction of that word. What does the word ceremonious mean? It's got this formal connotation to it. So we've got a formal connotation. Let's see. April, winter has ended. Notice you didn't capitalize April, but it's poetry. You could do whatever you want. Connotation. So it's like a formal walk. It's a formal walk. Winter has ended because it's April. You know, what else is a formal walk, right? With a suitor. Gonna give you a second. Marriage, right? There's this sort of symbolism of marriage, of a formal walk. Okay. Let's see. With her latest suitor. So what's being inferred there? An inference of, you know, she dates a lot, which is fine, you know. And remember that the speaker is not necessarily the writer, okay? So the speaker doesn't necessarily mean this is Plath. She's the writer, doesn't mean she's the speaker. Found herself of a sudden intolerably struck by the birds' irregular babble and the leaves litter. So the found herself of a sudden intolerably struck. This line is hard to verbalize, right? It's hard to say. It's hard to verbalize. It's out of order, intolerably, just that word itself is hard to say. It's awkward. Which mirrors the situation. There's also a lack of clarity. line has a lack of clarity, and so does their relationship. And when we're analyzing it not necessarily just with the knowledge. We're not in a bubble of a stanza, right? We're analyzing it with the knowledge of all the stanzas. I mean, he's got this unbalanced gesture, this where is it? His gait, like the way he walks, is uneven. She's just not intolerable. I mean, while it's difficult to wrap my tongue around it, I mean, she's not really happy here. She's intolerable of him. And so, she's not like, oh, let's hold hands and skip down the sidewalk. It's April. I'm super excited. She's just like, oh gosh, this guy still, okay, well, yeah, I guess let's go for a walk. And remember, it's a particular girl. And I'm reading it as picky because it's her latest suitor. I mean, she's probably like, oh, I hate the way this guy eats. Next, So there we go. For the birds, irregular babble. Babble means noisy. And the leaves, litter. And litter is negative, right? It's a negative connotation. Okay. All right, so there we go. By this tumult afflicted, so tumult is also noisy. She observed her lover's gestures unbalance the air. So let's see. His gait stray uneven. We talked a little bit about this. I'm going to change colors just so it's a little more clear since I went over. So basically, he's making gestures, and they aren't in sync with and she finds it annoying. Got the word rank, which has a negative connotation. And I know I'm missing alliteration and things like that, but those are things you can capture on your own, right, at this point. She judged petals in disarray, the whole season sloven. So look at all this negative connotation. I mean, I don't know why all of a sudden I got a funky box there. That's a pencil. I don't know why. No idea. How she longed for winter then. Oh, she's like, spring? Really? Where most people are like, spring, yes, winter, bye. But she's a fan of winter. So this is just a mood of desperation. Bring back winter. Scrupulously austere. Whoa, gotta look that up, right? I mean, what do those words mean? So you want to know what these words mean. Where can I put these words? Over here. diligent and strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. In its order of black and white, ice and rock, each sentiment within border. Okay, ice and rock. These could also be personality, right? You can have a personality of ice. Exact as a snowflake. Let's see. Snowflakes. Unique. So the exactness is going to be the relationship. Just being in a relationship is going to be the same as others, but not the relationship itself. But here, a burgeoning unruly enough to pitch her 5 queenly wits. These are your 5 senses. Into vulgar motley. So motley is chaos and excitement. This is like the beginning of the relationship, right? This is when like the butterflies and all that, but she called it vulgar. So she doesn't see that as positive. Let's see. A treason not to be born. Let idiots real giddy and bedlam spring. She withdrew neatly. So, and I haven't forgotten about this. We're going to finish with those. Because I know I'm skipping words, but that's because we're going to come back to it when we do that as well. Let's see. So this, let's see, this one right here, how she longed. She's, let's see, so diligent, and strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. Winter has order to it. And this one is even though she doesn't like relationships, she continues to get in them. Right, because this is her latest one. And I think that goes back to our pros and cons, right? It goes back to the pros, but then it also goes to the cons of why she doesn't like them, but then the pros of why she does like them. You know, sometimes she wants to be by herself, but then sometimes she doesn't want to be by herself. And then we have, you know, our just negative connotation for sure. I think we can just be like negative Do you ever write in all caps and then forget how to spell? Because I do. Connotation. I mean, that's just all over the place. Okay. A treason, you know, treason, idiots. Real giddy in bedlam, she withdrew neatly, and round her house she set such a barricade of barb and check against mutinous weather as so mere insurgent man could hope to break with curse, fist, threat, or love. So notice that she associates cursed, fit, threat, and love together. These, you know, there's juxtaposition there of those words. You've got connotation. We're going to say juxtaposition of connotation there. Let's see. So let's also say down here we have the symbolism of seasons. We've got spring and winter. Spring equals being in a relationship. Winter equals being single. But she prefers winter. Okay, so let's get our colors here. Let's start with green. Words that are orderly and organized. We've got surreptitiously austere, because remember that means diligent and strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. Why did I write that twice? Sheesh. I'm sure you thought that when I did it. Like, why is she writing that twice? I feel very passionate about it apparently. All right, order, black and white, border, exact as a snowflake, neatly, okay, that's what I have so far. Then for disorder, I've got irregular, tumult, unbalance, uneven, disarray, sloven, unruly, bedlam, and then for combat, I have treason, barricade, mutinous, insurgent. So that's what I have just off the top. There probably are others. There could be others for sure. Okay. Now this is Spinster. All right. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. And I hope you guys are doing well.